Hey everyone, I haven't done any videos lately because I was busy with various other projects. But here I wanted to do a video on Peter Madsen, the Danish submarine builder who last summer took out Kim Wall, the Swedish journalist, on a ride on his submarine where she wanted to write a story about him. However, he was then rescued from his sinking ship as he claimed he dropped off Kim Wall at a dock. However, that turned out to be wrong and she could not be found anywhere. Later, he claimed she died of an accident and he buried her at sea. That also turned out to be wrong. So what it looks like now is that he tortured her and sexually abused her and cut her in pieces and threw her in the ocean. And the sinking was a cover-up. So he's now on trial. So that whole thing happened last August. So it's quite an interesting story because in Denmark normally nothing much happens in this respect. So the interesting thing is there are not many interviews by him and there's not much to go on. So here's just a little clip of him prior to that incident where he's building something.
Enighed med bestyrelsen kulminerede i, at stifteren nu måtte forlade kunden. Hvor det første projekt faktisk boede.
So we can see nicely his face here. What we can tell is that he has these lines here which indicate singular thinking, going after his goal quite relentlessly. He has also these potential anger lines, so he might have some anger issues as well. He has these diagonal lines you can see here as well. So it indicates he went through some rough times in his past. Then he has these, slightly sticking out ears, which indicates he's quite individualistic, maybe potentially stubborn, unconventional. And he has this protruding lower lip, which indicates he's more taking than giving. So he's maybe more, in some sense, indulging himself.
På et tidspunkt havde det nået en skala, så det var nødvendigt at flytte til større lokaler,
So it's quite interesting, I think his eyes as well. So, one can interpret a lot into all this. So he looks like a regular guy, maybe more like a builder type, maybe engineer. His eyes seem to be quite grayish dead somehow, which you often find with serial killers. But otherwise, there's not much going on here. Okay, so then I wanted to look at a clip from the German news because it provides a little bit of a translation of what is going on. Because, I don't speak Danish.
You okay? You okay?
That's interesting because he's kind of spooked when he turns around. That might be indications that he's nervous if someone is calling him from behind. If he's guilty, he might be nervous about someone from Kim Wall's family or friends coming after him or whatever. He might be in a very nervous state. Then he gives thumb up and turns away.
Peter Madsen umgetrieben, als mit der Journalistin Kim Wall in seinem U-Boot in die Gewässer vor Kopenhagen auslief. Die Geschichte vom Tod der 30-jährigen Kim Wall, sie könnte aus einem...
So he is basically rescued from the submarine, and at this moment it's unclear what happened to Kim Wall. Later there were droplets of blood found on his, I think, nose and his face in general.
Der düsteren skandinavischen Krimis stammt.
But otherwise he looks like a regular guy.
Sie ist fürchterliche und beklemmende Realität.
Then he's...
Ich war auf einer Probefahrt, sagte er, habe an Bord gearbeitet.
So he was, it was a test run somehow, and he was working on board. So it was a defect that has to do with the balancing of the boat. He tried to fix it, and then it sank within 30 seconds. So he's happy that he escaped, otherwise he would have drowned.
Später wird das Boot geborgen. Madsen gibt an, Kim Wall abgesetzt zu haben. Eine Lüge, wie sich bald heraus.
So he says he dropped her off, but later they find parts of her body, her torso first here, and then later on her arms and her head even. Let's go to a slightly longer clip. So first he doesn't hear the person yelling from behind. He trips. And now he turns around spooked. Quite late somehow, so apparently he was in thoughts. He even tripped, and now he gets spooked and turns around. So whatever that means. So it might be that he's nervous or on the edge slightly.
You okay?
But turns away very quickly for someone who maybe just got rescued and is very happy to be alive. So now he is walking. in now's the episode where he's walking with a policeman. He's carrying his little thermal blanket. It's sort of a little barrier between the person filming and him. The remarkable thing is that he just keeps walking somehow. Yeah, he's not willing at this moment to stop and briefly talk about his rescue. As you saw in the German clip, he's just talking about that he almost drowned, but he doesn't spend any effort on mentioning Kim Wall. So if the story about Kim Wall being dropped off earlier and so on is true, or even the other story he told later about the accident that she accidentally was killed on board, he's not hinting towards this at all. He's completely ignoring that part. So he just keeps walking and talking. That's suspicious. Often he looks down, but this is also because he's walking on this uneven surface, but it could be interpreted also as signatures of guilt. Now he's looking up, quite confident, nodding and even smiling. Now a little bit. At least here now. So there's not much to go on. The suspicious part is that he's not stopping and hardly looking up. He just keeps walking and he just talks about that he almost drowned. He's not thinking about Kim Wall, so no mentioning of her. This is all suspicious. Otherwise, he looks more or less like a regular guy, except his eyes look slightly cold and dead. But here I might overinterpret. Interesting and very sad story. Okay, hope you liked the video. Bye.